What's up? I am LOVA and I am hanging out with Rob in front of Live.
You just had a really awesome single drop on Friday, Own Worst Enemy. It's honest, it's real. It's like you basically don't put any walls. Like, talk to me about, making this track and like opening up to a world like that, especially when it's so scary. You have to be careful with the things that you say nowadays because people don't understand a joke or people, take it too seriously. But, talk to me about creating this track in the kind of world that we're in right now.
I feel like writing personal and honest lyrics is kind of the only way I know how to write. It's the only way. It's how I've always written my songs, because songwriting for me is kind of, or really is like a form of me expressing myself. Like when I was younger, I was so shy and super like laid back, and I never was the type of person that kind of raised my hand in class. I think like for me, it's the most obvious way to write, and I don't know, I think also like people that are listening to my music really love that and love when they can relate to my songs, and I think that's so cool when I can just write about something that I've been through, and then someone else that's on the other side of this world can relate to this song, and we can have this bond and start this conversation of just things that we all go through, because I think it's so nice to have just, I don't know, I think when I was younger, like I found so much comfort in music when someone like could put words to your feelings that you couldn't really kind of find yourself at that moment. I kind of want to be that person for someone else, and just my songs to be that like friend when they need someone to kind of lift them up, or just, I don't know, be there in hard times and fun times, because I think that's also like really important with my music, that I want my music to be honest and personal and tell a story, but also I want it to be fun and quirky and playful and, I don't know, still be a song when people can dance to. And I think this song, I was just in a period of my life where I'm kind of was like looking back, like I'm getting older now. I'm not saying that I'm old, but I've left my childhood years behind me and really like starting to entering adult life. And I've always been such like a good girl. Like I've always lived my life to kind of be perfect. I think a lot in my parents' eyes. I've always want to make them proud, and even where I grew up, like there was so much pressure on how to look and how to behave, and I think it really put a lot of pressure on me to always kind of live up to this image that I thought was right. So I felt like I kind of started looking back at my childhood, and I feel like I didn't really live it the way I wanted to, in a way. I feel like I missed out a lot, even with like doing this and doing music, and I'm so happy and just so grateful that I'm in this position. But since I've always known that I want to do this and always been so career focused, I've had to be super responsible sometimes, and just thinking about like, what's tomorrow? Can I go out today? No. And probably I could, but I'm just like, I don't know, I want to be so good and just feel like a grown up and please everybody around me, like their own worst enemy. Like sometimes I think I've said no a lot to things that I really want to do, but just because I that it wasn't the right thing, or I was thinking about the consequences, I didn't do it. But I think like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like I think, but it's so fun because like I'm so jealous of my friends that are living this life and just am going crazy and going out every night, and they have so many regrets the day after and just like hungover, and I'm jealous of them and they're jealous of me because I'm so put together and I have my life under control. Doing music, I know what I want, so I think it's like both sided for sure.
Well, I feel like, quoting, jealous of my friends, like I feel like this is kind of what we can expect on this upcoming debut album that you're like in the process of working on. So like I feel like you're going to open up to your fans a lot. I feel like you're going to talk about, regrets or, things that you do that you wish you didn't, like is that the mindset that you have right now for this debut EP or debut album? And is it scary at the same time because you're gonna open up like that and you've always been so put together and so perfect?
Yeah, or I feel like people ask me if it's scary and if I feel vulnerable. I think I definitely feel vulnerable just because you kind of give your a part of your heart out and people are just
Right.
you. But it also empowers me so much because I just think it's such a powerful thing to speak your truth in a way. And just, I don't know, since I've not really been able to kind of do that my like past years, it's just so fulfilling to kind of have my story out there now and for people to take a part of it. And yeah, I don't know, it's definitely going to be such a personal album, which I'm super, super excited about. It's definitely going to be focused on that whole thing of like growing up and kind of leaving your childhood and teenage years behind you and entering adult life and what everything that comes with it, like feeling so lost and insecure. And I don't know, it's such a weird age, I feel like, that I'm in right now. Like, I'm turning 20 this year, and it's just like you're so in between. You're like, some people treat you like a kid still, and some people take you so like seriously, and you're an adult and you have all these responsibilities. And then I'm in like huge meetings with this big like around the world that are telling me you should do this, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I mean, it's different now that you're in the spotlight.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, you know, as far as like producers go, do you have a specific producer that you've been working with, or do you pretty much do everything yourself? Like, how does that work for you when it comes to the creative process?
Yeah, I have definitely my like favorite people that I work with. I started actually like one of the first people I ever wrote with in a session were a producer duo called CEO Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've done like 80% of my music that's out with them. So they're for sure like some of my go-to people, and it's like we become friends now, and I think that's why the music turns out so good, because I think like it's high ceiling, no one's offended if you don't like something, like we push each other, always become better, and for the music to the best it can be, which I think is such a fun and creative process. So I definitely work a lot with them. And then, yeah, it's just like I have now, since I'm working on the album as well, like wanted to be, like I have this concept, and I think when you're working with so many different people, it kind of becomes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to stick to my main people that I really love and the people who understand me and what I want.
In the past, you had the opportunity to kind of perform with some mega people like Zara Larrson or like even Alma. You know, being able to share a stage with artists like that, like how does that influence your career? How does that influence like the way that you see the live show or just this career in general?
Yeah, no, it's super inspiring. I think it's so important to have idols and people to kind of look up to. And for, I don't know, I think when I was younger, just having female artists that were producing and writing and kind of showed you that there was this whole world and like opportunities for you to kind of take part of.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I think we need that. And for like, especially like Zara Larrson, having this young Swedish female taking over the world and having this whole like international career, it's so cool to see, and it's super inspiring for me to kind of like feel like I'm following in her footsteps. And I don't know, I feel like it only is like motivating and inspiring. I think a lot of people want to kind of like put us like Scandinavian girls like against each other because there's a lot of us and everyone is so good. Within us, I feel like we're so supportive and just want everyone to kind of succeed, which is so cool to be a part of that whole Scandinavian gang.
Now, what are the plans for this album? Do you see it already happening? I mean, I feel like 2020 is canceled completely. So, like, do you see that happening this year? Do you see that like coming for 2021? Like, what? How do you feel about your music right now?
I was like, 2020 is going to be my year. I felt like everyone was saying that, like, everyone is going to remember 2020, and now we're definitely going to remember it. Completely other thing. But no, I'm definitely planning on a release this year, and then we'll just have to see. I'm going to follow, like, I'm going to take it day by day. But I am right now mainly focusing on just finishing the album. We have so many songs, which is great. Like, one thing that I'm trying with right now is to, like, go through all the demos and all the songs that I really haven't been able to do.
Yeah.
That's been really nice. Just kind of like pick out the favorites and kind of see what I feel like I'm missing, and just kind of complete and perfect the album. But I would love for it to be out this year, but I also want to make it as best as it can be, because you can only do a debut album once. So we'll see. But I am really trying to stick to plan and for it to be out this year.
Back to Own Worst Enemy. What do you feel like was like the biggest challenge in creating that track?
Honestly, this was such easy song to write. It was just like that type of session where everything flowed. I actually, because I wrote it at a writing camp in Oslo, and that day I was put in the wrong session in the beginning. So I was in another room to start off with, like, other people, and I could just feel that there wasn't really a vibe, which happens. Like, sometimes it's so based on personal chemistry. And I just felt like something was a little bit off. And then this guy came in and said, like, oh, I'm so sorry, you're in the wrong session. And as soon as I came into the other room, we were like, let's do this. Like, yes, we feel it. There was just, like, energy in that room, and everyone is so hyped. And I always have, like, a very clear message or kind of a theme that I want to write about as soon as I go into a session.
Yeah.
And then the songwriter called Jensen Vaughn, he was just so quick with lyrics and, like, he was so fun and quirky and just, like, throwing out so weird shit. I was like, you're crazy. Like, where does your mind go? Like, this is so, but also so personal and quirky and fun. So yeah, it was actually such an easy and fun session, and I think that's how and why the song turned out so good.